Imagine being able to bring in over $42,000 your first month stepping into your entrepreneurship journey. Well, let me say something. Everything seems like it's impossible until it's done. And today I'm gonna be talking with somebody who understands this and how important it is to create multiple streams of income with your entrepreneurship journey. He went from working a full-time job to doing entrepreneurship on the side to fully investing in himself and starting an agency called Chosen Agency, where he's able to help life insurance agents sell insurance packages virtually through their own agencies. Now, this is what I mean by never giving up on yourself. After fully investing in himself, this last year alone in 2023, he did $1.4 million in total revenue. And once you start reaping the benefits of entrepreneurship, just like Chris has, you're going to also realize how important it is to diversify your income portfolio and the amount of streams that you're bringing in. So today we're going to talk about his journey, the ins and outs of entrepreneurship, the things that a lot of people don't talk about, so you can get the motivation to help you get started today. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, y'all. I got the special guest here, Chris. What is going on,
Hey,
my
what's
boy?
going on, bro?
Happy to have you in here.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
Hey, go ahead and tell everybody where you're from and a little bit about yourself.
Okay, cool. So, everybody, I'm from a small town called Hartwell, Georgia. I'm sure everybody's heard of it, right? But no, literally, I just looked at the census 2010. So, 14 years ago, it was only 4,000 people.
Oof. Small town with it. Small town boy.
Yes, sir. So, small town boy. And I live in Houston now. So, literally, the high schools are bigger than the town I came from.
Wow.
And so, like, when people talk about entrepreneurship, it's weird because when you grow up in one of those towns, you don't see people who do businesses. It's either you're a teacher, you're a police officer, you work for the local plant. And that's pretty much all I saw growing up.
Yeah, I can relate to that, man. I'm from Missouri, so
yeah.
ain't a whole lot going out there when it comes to entrepreneurship. But that's what's up. So you live in Houston now, correct?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about like what you do, a little bit of your background, and just kind of the first steps of your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah, so like I said, I come from a small town, and my whole family's in education. So my mom was a principal for a couple of years. My dad taught. My brother and sister are principals, teachers, grandparents, great-grandparents, college professors, all that kind of stuff. So naturally, I grew up. My mom asked me what I want to be when I grow up, and I told her I want to be rich. So she said, don't get an education. And I was always the kid, like trying to sell jawbreakers in school, you know, like hustling somebody. I used to buy candy and sell it to my parents.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of had that bug in me. And she always used to tell me, you should be business. You should be an entrepreneur. So I went to University of Georgia where I got a business degree. But still, I had no clue what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I studied risk management and insurance, but I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
Literally, my dad was like, hey, man, look at insurance because they always hiring.
They always are.
Yeah, so like
They always are.
that was my intro to that. So I got into insurance, and my first job out of college was with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. So I was one of the kids that was actually like washing and vacuuming cars with a college degree. So I got like $70,000 in student loans, and I'm making like $14 an hour, sweating in Georgia heat. So I was like, this for sure can't be it.
Yeah.
It can't be it. But when you work with a car rental, you meet a lot of business people. So I started hearing other people in insurance, and they were always traveling, seemed to be doing well. So I was like, hey, man, what do you guys do? And they started plugging me in and said, you know what, man, come interview. So I got a job with a company called Travelers. So it's like a corporate insurance company. So now I'm like 23, 24, working with a corporate insurance company, making like 50 grand a year. And for the first 2 years, I loved it. You know, it was good. Like I had 20, 30 vacation days, only work 5 days a week, 40 hours. But like I said, I always had that entrepreneurial bug. So like being stuck in a cubicle all day and, you know, just going to work and looking at spreadsheets and being in front of a computer, I was like, this can't be it.
Yeah.
This can't be it, you know. So it wasn't a bad job. I actually enjoyed it. I learned a lot. But that's when I actually got my insurance license part-time. So I literally just said, I need a challenge. I need something to do outside of work. So I got licensed. One of the guys I was watching on YouTube is like a mentor of mine. He said insurance is one of the most lucrative industries. It's a perfect part-time thing. So I decided to get my license part-time. I was already in insurance. So like my family and my friends, they already knew me as this insurance guy. So like find clientele and all that stuff, I already kind of had like credibility.
Yeah.
Because they thought I knew it. And plus I've always like finance and business. So that was it. Like I literally stumbled into it. I heard it was the industry that makes the most millionaires. I said, if I'm ever gonna be a millionaire, I might as well start there.
That's a
Got
good way to start.
licensed, didn't know what the hell I was doing. Don't come from a family full of entrepreneurs. So every mistake, I probably made it, but here we are.
So how did it feel, you know, being in that position where I have two questions. One, how were you able to pull the trigger when the time did come to fully invest in yourself? And B, how were you able to know you wanted more for yourself than what your family's already doing as well?
So pulling the trigger, it was For me, I did it probably a little too soon. But at that time, I wasn't married. I didn't have any kids. And the girl that I was dating, who happened to be my wife now, she supported me. She saw the vision and she was like, hey, whatever you need in this period, I'll hold you down. So she's a full-time engineer. She was making six figures. So I just knew I had a security blanket if I needed. And I would just tell her like, hey, if we ever gonna do it, let's do it now. You know, it's not as much of a risk. My resume is pretty good, so if I need to go get another job, I can always go get somewhere else. But that was it. And the hardest part probably was when she came on full-time with me, because when I did it was easy. Like I had her as a security blanket. When she came, it was like, okay, the pressure's on you now. You know, because she held you down. Now it's your turn to hold her down.
Yeah. And
so she was making six figures. She had a company car, so we weren't paying for gas. We didn't have a car note. We had all the benefits. And the month that she quit her job, it was after, I think we had made 40 grand one month and then 30 grand the next month. So we had like 100,000 in savings. And what's crazy is we were so built on that security though. So even though we had proven to ourselves we could do it, we still were like, I don't know about this. But our mentor at the time, they were like, bro, you just made 40 grand and 30 grand back to back. Like you proven to yourself you know what to do.
You can do it.
And that's when our mentor said, hey, Erica, you're making more part-time than you are full-time. You should quit your job. And then she quit. And that next month,
all the chargebacks came in. Boy, my first product, I did like $30,000 profit off my first product. And the next month I lost 20,000 of it.
the next month we lost 20
grand. Chargebacks. I was like, I'm up. I went and bought a chain. Boy, I was like, I ain't got nothing left now. Stupid. Why'd I do that shit?
So we didn't buy anything, but she already did want to quit because she had a good job and she worked from home. So she wasn't really like doing much. She was like, man, this is easy work. And she quit. And then her grandmother passed 2 weeks after that. And then we had like 20 racks in charge.
Smacked all at once. Boom. All at once. You know it all comes in threes.
Yep. And then my dad passed like 2 or 3 months after that. So it was like,
it all comes in threes. But you kept pushing.
I'm glad I was in the business because I don't think if I had the business, I would have stayed focused. I think I would have been like sulking.
Yeah.
But like we were starting to get
You're already so driven with what you were doing. Yeah. And it was like, I can't give up now.
Yeah.
You know
and I could get lost in the business and it was it took my mind off of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Normally I probably would have been drinking with my brother or something like, I would just been
putting the sorrows down.
Yeah. No, we got back to work, and it helped. Yeah. It helped a lot.
Consistency in work, it helps with two things. It helps and hurts two things. One, if you get too consistent with work, it helps you stop feeling emotion. So that's like the hard part. But the good part is like you can make it past emotion quicker. So it's like how hard you work, you got to learn how to balance it. You can't be a non-emotional person because I got to that point. Like my fiance was like, bro, you just don't crack. Like it's every day. It's the same thing. You only care, like you're just so driven and so obsessed with this one thing. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to be human again, like a little bit. We're
kind of in that phase where we're like getting back.
Yeah, getting back. But I mean, you can't not be in that phase either, though. Like the first 1 to 2, 3 years, just trying to get up. Like you have to be like that. Yeah. And whoever is in your life has to understand. Like I can't put you first for like a couple years, but after that, like you everything to me. You know what I'm saying? But like right now, this is like I have to get this off the ground.
That's the hardest thing too, because the people you love and like, it's not like you not gonna be friends, but they don't understand that I'm 1 month from being out of business.
And I don't want to relate to, I don't want to explain this to you. I don't want you to try to relate to me. Like, I just want you to understand.
That's it.
Be from the distance and just watch. Like, and let me come back to you. I'll come back. Like, just give me my time. You know what I'm saying? Like
y'all don't get it. If we don't do stuff for the next 2 months, like we're back in the job.
Can't pay bills.
Like I'm literally out of job. Understand. And I don't have a resume for the last 5 years. So people are like, what have you been doing? I was like,
I swear, bro.
Shit, off, I guess. Like, so they don't get it. But we're getting back human now, though. So
that's good.
And we're spending more time with the family now.
That's good. That's all I'm trying to do now, man. I've been like so non-human last couple of years now, having a son and everything. I'm like,
oh, yeah, you got to.
This money ain't shit if I ain't spending time with him or putting time into my family. Like, it ain't shit. So,
yeah like now you just got to, like, do it. But he's like, confidence comes from demonstrated ability. You should be confident moving forward because you've demonstrated that you can do it.
No, 100%. And just for the people who are watching, though, with you driving revenue, how do you and your business drive revenue?
Mainly through social media. Honestly, we built our brokerage, and it's not even paid stuff. So, like, because I'm new to this game, I didn't know anything about advertising and marketing. All I knew was that if you got Facebook, you can post for free.
That's true.
So, believe it or not, we hit our first 6 figures just posting in Facebook groups. So we work primarily with a lot of entrepreneurs, people looking to save and invest, infinite banking. So what we would do is go in Facebook groups. I would say, hey, my audience is small. I got 2,000 or 3,000 followers, but this group has 20,000 followers. If I stay consistent in the group and keep posting, people will start thinking it's my group, you know? So like I would a lot of time get a lot of audience to eyeballs by just using free platforms. And to this day, we still don't pay for much advertising other than really nothing. We just post strategically in groups, Facebook, Instagram, and we did that for free.
And I do the exact same thing, you know, with Supreme Ecom, but even with, you know, the dropshipping products that we sell and what we teach is we teach people how to do an omni-channel marketing. Of course, there's paid ads, but also organic marketing can help you survive a lot longer and reap the more benefits when it comes to the profitability. So,
and if you don't mind, I want to touch on it. You need to do both because I see some people who just do paid, and like I'm watching their ads, and then I go follow their page, and there's nothing there. Yeah. It's like the organic stuff is the stuff that people really get to know you from.
I always say you can get far starting off with paid because it's the first opportunity for you to really get the ground going, but you will not survive without organic. Yeah. Like you have to have good organic or your foundation's only going to be built off of you spending money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with our products and like what we teach and honestly what you see so many people teaching about right now, and which is huge, is social media marketing. So you just mentioned you went to school with, you know, business, doing, you know, crisis management and things. How were you able to even learn about social media marketing?
Oh, bro, like I graduated college in 2013. So over 10 years ago, honestly, my marketing classes, we still talk about magazines. I know it's weird.
No, it's true though. It's same for me when I was at school too.
Yeah, like, cause I probably took marketing in like 2010, 2011. So I'm not even sure if I had Facebook on my phone yet. You know, like, because I always tell my wife that, when I was in college, I used to log on the laptop to get on Facebook and check social media. So the marketing that I learned was all the old school stuff, like dinner parties, magazines, billboards. But for us, I spend a lot of money on education because, like my whole families are teachers. So I bought the courses. I bought the Todd Lopez. I bought the this, the that. I'm still on YouTube. We read all the books. And the information's there. You know, if you really just get on YouTube, there's a lot of free stuff that you can get started with.
Knowledge is power. And even for myself, when I first started, it was all about, truthfully, the only reason why I did YouTube, the only reason I started courses, the only reason I started doing any of that education was because, like you, I started my career looking for education. I was not going to be able to learn the knowledge of dropshipping or e-commerce without the help because I didn't know what I was doing. And I joined my first course, I joined my first program, and it went absolutely terrible. I got scammed. He took money from me. The course was like 3 videos. Like, I was like, what is going on? Is this what like education online looks like? Because I never done it before that point. And I told myself, I was like, you know what? The only thing I can take from this is that I will not repeat the same process when I do make it. So I put all my efforts into drop shipping and, generated millions of dollars in it myself. And then everybody was hitting me up like, you should do YouTube. You should do a course. We want to learn from you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to listen to what people are wanting. But I was like, they're like, how are you going to start? What are you going to do? I was like, I'm just going to do the opposite of what I just went through. Yeah. It's not hard. Like, I just got the framework of what not to do. Yeah. So let me just do what I need to do to change the outcome of other people's lives as well.
If you don't mind me piggybacking. So like for the person who's an entrepreneur right now or trying to figure out what to do, listen to what he just said. He said, there was a need that I wanted to meet because this is what I wish I had. So a lot of times I think when people think about entrepreneurship, they're thinking they got to be the next Elon Musk. Like they got to create a electric spaceship.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I sell insurance. Insurance has been around for 200 years. I've just communicated on TikTok. Like the traditional way of doing it is door to door.
Yeah.
But it's just like, no, I want to educate the next generation about how it works. And I want to use real life examples because I wish my parents and grandparents and those people had that because I think they would have took advantage of it if they understood it.
I always say, the definition of, insanity is, doing the same thing and expecting different results. So if you're sitting here doing the same thing that your parents are doing and thinking you're going to get different results, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Yeah. But to also piggyback on what you're saying, we're not here to reinvent the wheel. Another big part of my success is not reinventing the wheel. I don't just apply that with Supreme Ecom, but I apply it with every product that we teach our students to sell. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to go sell a product that is not already working or has proven to work for somebody else, because why sit there and try to build a foundation when somebody else can do it for you? And all you have to do is just do it better than them.
That's it.
100%,
do
man.
It better.
So TikTok, you've been growing this thing. Like, you got hundreds of thousands of followers, right? You didn't have social media experience. No. So what, like, besides just the aspect of you having a niche that isn't talked a lot about on TikTok, How were you able to grow it as well as you did?
So it's an interesting story. I just started my TikTok last year,
Wow.
I
And
think-
wait, how many followers do you have right now?
like almost 500,000.
Sheesh.
I think I started December 22, and this is January 24. So, but what happened is we had no vision for it. We didn't know what we are gonna do, and me and my editor, we started shooting content. You know, we were just talking one day like we normally do, and he had seen me in work as a broker. So, if you guys don't know, I'm a broker behind the scenes. So I train and teach agents. So he seen how I lecture, talk, and he was like, "Bro, you need to get in front of the camera and you need to be teaching." And what happened was an interesting story. It was kind of lucky, but it was the week that Silicon Valley Bank went bankrupt.
Okay.
And he asked me, genuinely, he was like, "How did that happen?" And I said, "Well, you know how this is how banks work. They take your money, they lend it out, blah, blah, blah. And if everybody wants their money back at once, sometimes it's called a bank run where they have a shortage of money and it could drive them out of business." And I did it in 60 seconds. And I just used like little pencils and things that we had. And he said, "That was brilliant." He was like, "Something I had never been able to understand. I just got it. We got to shoot it." And I said, "Okay, yeah, we'll shoot it next time. We'll get together next week and I'll plan it perfect." He said, "No, you got to do it now." And so we shot it right then. And we used, so if y'all don't know if you noticed, I used like coffee lids and Jenga and whatever, because I was in my office and I was totally unprepared for it.
Yeah.
And we made it, we brought it to life. And he was like, "Man, I got to edit this and I got to post it." And I was just like, "Whatever." So it usually takes him a couple of days. And he literally stopped right there, got his phone, cap cut, whatever he does, boom, 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 in like 20 minutes, posted it. I had 200 followers. By Monday, I was like 50,000.
Oh, wow.
So I guess the secret is this. I caught something that was trending, but I put my swag on it. Like I explained it to the people.
Yeah. And you solved a problem too.
I solved the problem.
By allowing yourself to provide information that's not easily found.
Yeah.
Or easily understood.
Yeah.
It's because gatekeeping is a big thing, you know? And
It
that's
really is.
that's another thing is like when you said, "Oh, I entered in the market, I started doing YouTube because of, you know, I wanted to be different from the course that I bought." It was also trying to be different from what I saw into the public, right? Once I knew this course was not going to work for me, I had no other option but to go to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to YouTube and I'm like, every video is gatekeeping to something. Like everything is not giving me the information that's needed, or it's so complex that just no one's going to get it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, bet. If I start my YouTube channel, I'm just going to give it all. Like
yeah.
it's that easy.
So that's part of our secret too. For some of the people want to know, like, how are you growing? I don't hold much back.
Why would you?
Yeah, like
why
I
would
don't
you?
hold much back.
Knowledge is power, and if your main goal is to change the outcome of other people's lives, how are you going to do that by limiting the knowledge that you provide?
Absolutely.
Makes no
Like
sense.
my whole brand is around education.
Yeah.
So it's I think education where it all starts. And I try to connect things that people don't understand with things that they do.
Cool. That's a good
And
business
what's
model.
crazy, yeah, that's like my mission statement, connecting things that people don't understand with things that they do. And so for me, like right now I'm focused on the insurance. We have a tech company. We have a couple other things, but like there's just so many ways to make money.
There is.
And I'm not going to take advantage of all of them. And if I learn something, why not share it?
Does that make you change your thought process when people say they can't do it? When they can't figure out how to do something for themselves, or if they believe that there's not ways out there, or other people just had it easy? Like, how do you approach situations with people like that, knowing all the things that you know now?
Especially if you live in America, it's hard for me to believe. Like I can't even accept it.
Yeah.
I don't even process it. Like I'm very good at being encouraging. That's part of my job because I am a coach, I'm a leader. So like I understand the limited beliefs that people have. But for me, like when people say that, I honestly like almost don't hear it because it's hard for me to understand it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's do simple math. So when I first came out of college, I was making like 50 grand. I think I was getting like a 5% raise every year. So 5% of 50,000, 2,500 a year. So people work every single year for a 5% raise, which is $2,500 a year. If you break that down by months, that's $200 a month. So you would rather work 40, 50 hours a week for an extra $200 a month as opposed to maybe starting your own business and making an extra $1,000. Like drop shipping. I know we talk about $30,000, $40,000 a month, but like literally start a drop shipping business and make $2,000 or $3,000 extra a month
On top of your job.
on top of your job. So you cannot tell me that
Yeah.
it's easier to work 40 hours for 52 weeks a year to only make $2,500 than it is to maybe put in an extra 15, 20 hours a week. And again, you may not make 20, 30,000, but making an extra 2 or 3 grand a month changes everything for most people in America.
And it makes you realize that the sky is the limit and you can do anything you put your mind
Correct.
to.
Correct.
But also, even if you don't make $2,000 to $3,000 extra a month, like starting off the first 2-3 months, what would it be like if you just made extra $600,
Yes.
$500, knowing that you said you could do something and then you just went out there
did
and
it.
actually did it?
So my very first check in insurance. So because when I got started, I was very timid. I'm not the guy you see today. Like I was shy, nervous, and wouldn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
So it took me a couple months to get like ramped up. But my first check, first client I helped was $400. And I always tell people to this day that's still the biggest check I ever got. Because that was the first time outside of using my hands and feet that I really proved to myself that I could start something with my brain and make money. And once I got $400, I was like, okay, if I do this 5 times in a month, that's 2,000. Or maybe I can do 10 times in a month, so that's 4,000. And maybe I can teach 1 or 2 people how to do it, and that'll give me X, Y, and Z. And so I start putting the pieces together. But that was still a year or two before $400 and 40,000.
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah,
big
but the
difference.
fact that I did it, it was like, okay, I can do the same thing. Like I can find a way to do this again.
So even when you went to 40,000 compared to $400, it really didn't change your mentality because you
No.
already understood, where you could be at. But what did probably change is knowing that that's just probably the beginning, right?
Yeah.
You know you could get to next levels. So once you did start getting success, how were you able to then take it to the next level, even when you started having things going on? Because a lot of people will sit there and be like, all right, I got my success. I'm stagnant. I'm consistent. I'm cool to stay here. I got what I needed. How are you able to continue to keep raising the bar?
I think we just got good mentors, good people that's in our ear. And for us, we got a big chip on our shoulder.
Yeah.
We got a pretty big chip on our shoulder. We got a lot of people who, we had a lot of people who supported us. We come from good backgrounds, good families. So most of the people, I think they were rooting for us, but behind the scenes, we know they were like talking a little trash.
Let's talk about the importance of mentors a little bit. How important do you think like mentors are towards overall success, and having one that's been in the same position that you've been in and excelled in it and giving you kind of the same path where you can kind of have a cheat code while doing so?
I think it's the quickest way to being successful in any industry. I don't understand why people are so determined trying to figure it out by themselves.
Never understood it.
I literally don't. Like,
It's because people have too much pride.
pride and ego.
They'll let their pride outweigh the success, and their pride will allow them to be in the same position for 5 years, all because they didn't want to sit here and invest in themselves and invest in somebody who's already doing better than you.
Yeah, it's pride and ego. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to tell me exactly what mistakes you made and what things work, then I'm going to do that, especially if you're where I want to be.
That's exactly how our entire system is built. It's built off of mistakes.
And this is my motto: until I get to where you are, I'm not changing anything.
Yeah.
So maybe we start making the same money, then I'll kind of iterate a little bit and try to tweak things. But no, if you're showing me the blueprint and you're doing well and I'm growing, I'm sticking to it.
100%.
And I guess the secret for us is that each level, though, we keep finding new mentors who are like further and further. So again, making like $200,000 or $300,000 a couple years ago was like a big deal. And you get there, now you start talking to people who make $2 or $3 million a year. Now you're talking to people who, I'm 33, you look at other people who 35, 34, 35, and they're worth $100 million.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shoot, I'm really behind the curve. So I think just having the right people in your corner, like, it stretches your vision. And for us, it's not even the money anymore. It's just like, how good can we be? I think that's what get us. Like, we're finding out new things. We're learning more stuff about business. And we're just like, how far can we take it? It's a
Me,
story.
I have a very crazy mindset. So for me, unfortunately / fortunately, I feel like I can do anything I want in this world.
Same.
And I also feel like the sky is the limit.
Same.
So I will go all in on getting whatever knowledge is possible. Like, you guys don't understand. Till this day, like 2 months ago, I dropped $15,000 on a mentorship for 30-day mentorship for 4 calls. 4 calls. Like, that is insane. But the amount of value I got from those 4 calls was basically all I needed. So I really want to emphasize that you say that every level that you get, you keep trying to educate yourself on how to get to the next level above. So how do you find those people? Like, how do you put yourself in a situation to find them?
Just like you, we pay. So if there's a entrepreneur or somebody that I
Or how do you find them, and how do you know if they're real? Let me throw that onto there, because you can pay anybody, but how do you know you're paying the right person?
Try to see if you can find some receipts. What I mean is that if somebody has a coaching program, they've had a coaching program for 5 years, but they can't show you somebody who made 6 figures or $50,000. They don't have anything, no proof behind it. That should tell you that I don't know if I should trust it. So that's what we look for. Like, what kind of proof? What are your students saying about you? What can we see? But a lot of times we find people, we study them, we see what they're doing. If they have a course or a free program, we'll take it to see if it fits us. And just like you, we don't mind paying. Like, if let's say I spent $5,000 to get a coaching call or something, and I didn't learn as much or I didn't get exactly what I wanted. I'm always gonna learn something. I'm gonna pull something from it.
Something. You have to pull something from
Hey,
it.
or you just learn, okay, next time I jumped the gun on this. Like I had this feeling that I probably shouldn't pay for it, and I was right. And it's like, okay, next time you get this feeling, just don't do it.
Yeah, I think receipts are very important.
Receipts.
I think longevity is important. How long have you been in the market? How well can you show the successes of others? And how consistent are you? Because are you showing me information that was relevant 2, 3, 4 years ago? Or are you showing me information that is relevant today that I can apply today? Or are you even a step ahead and telling me what's going to happen in the future so I can start preparing for it now?
Bro, that's a huge point. So when I started selling insurance, one of the people that we were working with, they were kind of door to door. They were kind of network in person, which is cool. Like it still works. But that was the way that people did it 20, 30 years ago. And that's what he was familiar with and made money that way, which again is cool. But for me, it was like, hey, this Zoom thing is kind of popping. Like, you know, these webinars are kind of dope. Like maybe we should start implementing this stuff. So I learned as much as I could, but once I got to that threshold, I went to the next person because I was like, hey, this is as far as it's going to go. COVID hit. It's like, we can't do this the way we used to do it. Like, I'm looking for somebody who's seeing what needs to be done, but they're trying to do it in 2027 as opposed to like right now.
And that's kind of what you're saying you solved the problem of. So right now with your business model, you take agents and you help them run a virtual agency.
Yeah.
Why virtual and why was that like so important in your business model?
So when me and my wife started in 2018, we both had full-time jobs and we both like to travel.
Yeah.
So it was hard trying to run a brick and mortar business. And I hate to say babysit, but like you run a brick and mortar business, you're overseeing an office, but then you don't have a lifestyle because if you're not in the office, then nothing gets done. And so for us, we started using Zoom 2 years before COVID. And the limiting belief in the industry was that something so precious like insurance, you gotta sell it sitting beside. Yeah, I gotta be kneecap. That's what I say. You gotta be kneecap to kneecap. I gotta look you in your eye. I gotta hug you. Which I get it. That's a very important part of it. But you have to understand, like people our age, we're used to buying stuff online, and we don't care how valuable it is or how invaluable. Like buying life insurance online to somebody who's 30 years old, they think that's how it should be done.
Yeah.
But everybody else could not. It did not make sense to them. So we started running Zooms in 2018, and we were having success. We were winning. People like, I see what y'all are doing. You shouldn't do it, but I see it, and it seems to be working. And then what happened is COVID hit in 2020.
And no one had any other option at that point.
And who were they calling?
Yeah.
They're calling Chris and Erica like, hey, can y'all show us that thing that y'all been doing, the presentations? And so 2020 was the year that we like spiked. We got married that year. We started hitting 6 figures. The company was with, we were one of the top agents in that company, killing it. And the only thing that I'm frustrated about is that the visions that we started seeing after 2020, 2021, after COVID, these are things that we saw 2 or 3 years before, but we didn't have like the courage and confidence to like push it forward. But yeah, we just saw how the world worked. COVID pushed us in that direction. And then now everybody still goes back to the traditional, let's go door to door, let's have everybody at the office. But no, we like to travel.
I like that.
I like to travel, literally.
I like traveling a lot too. That's why I started Supreme Ecom. That's why I started drop shipping.
And not only
Wi-Fi bread, like that's what we stand for. Be able to make money anywhere in the world.
And not only this, we like to try to make this as convenient because we work with a lot of people part-time.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
we have a lot of agents who are like tax preparers, who are like real estate agents, who are credit repairers. So insurance may not be their like bread and butter. It's just a way to add value to their clients.
Yeah.
So like it's hard to get people to work 9 to 5 and then say, once you're done with that, come over here from 5 to 10.
Yeah, it definitely is. And but at the same time, like what you're saying is one thing that really stuck out to me is you said, you know, you wish you would have done it a little bit earlier. And this is one of the mindsets that I understand changed everything for me. It's called the scarcity mindset.
Yep.
And I'm still learning. I'm not perfect right now, but I understand that if you want to do something, just do it right then and there and don't be afraid of what the risk is that comes from it. And I put myself in that position multiple times from 2018, losing my job when I first moved out here and being like, okay, either I go get another job or I fully invest in myself. Boom, scarcity mindset. Said, I don't care what comes from it. I'm going to succeed at whatever it costs.
Yeah.
From a crane hitting my apartment complex, I don't know if you heard about that out here. Bro, so in 2019, right, there was well, for one, I got robbed, right? When I first started drop shipping, I was like, I'm going to go all in. I quit my job. I'm like, I'm going to get success. 2 weeks by, they robbed me, steal everything out of my apartment complex. I'm like, is this a sign? Like, am I not supposed to be doing this? Am I not supposed to be? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep pushing. Found my first winning product, did about $100,000 in sales, profited only like $10,000 because I didn't realize how important chargebacks were.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I'm like, okay, bet I got to put more quality into my business. I'm going to do better. I'm going to get way better with my business model. I was like, bet. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put all this work into my business model. And I developed the business for like 3-4 months. And then a crane fell through my apartment complex out here in Dallas. So like if this was my apartment and this was the apartment next door, there's a crane on top of it. And it was windy that day. And it snapped on the bottom of the crane and fell over onto the apartment. And like multiple people died. Like
What?
the whole building collapsed down. Like we lost everything to our name. And I remember the scarcity mindset in that moment right then was like, option A, this is now the second sign that I just now lost everything to my name twice in the last like 7 months. Do I give up and dropshipping really is not the best thing for me? Or like, do I go all in? So I'm like, okay, bet. Like I have no other option. I'm gonna go all in. So they put us across this Red Cross. They put us in this church across the street with Red Cross. And they were feeding us for like a couple of days, making sure we could just survive. The people in there all sleeping on the floors. And I see all these women in there that have their babies and have nothing to sleep in with their babies. And then like, I'm sitting there like, damn, this would be a good idea. Like everybody got babies and don't got nowhere for them to sleep. So then I'm scrolling on the floor. Like I remember it was like 11:30 p.m. at night. I'm scrolling there. I'm looking on my phone and like, there's like 200 people around me because we're all sleeping on the floor around each other. And a baby bed scrolls across my page, like this portable baby bed. And I'm like, hold on, like this shit is exactly what these people need in here right now. So I was like, okay, bet I'm just gonna market it towards people who like don't have anywhere to put their kids or want to get better sleep at night or have comfortability for their kids so they don't roll over on their face or whatever the case may be. And then 7 months went by and I did 2 million in sales. Literally, like, bro, from not ever having a product, not even just losing this last product, having all these chargebacks, just got robbed, the crane falling, not knowing what I was gonna do, found a problem, solved it. And then from June 15th, 2019 to December 28th, 2019, did $2 million in sales.
What would you say the difference was?
Not being scared, like not being scared, not giving up on myself, and knowing that right when you feel like giving up is if you do give up, could have been the same time that you could have succeeded. And I always have this scared mindset that if I give up today, will tomorrow be the day that everything works?
Yeah.
And that was really what changed in that moment is I was like, okay, I'm not going to sell bad products that don't have good quality to anymore. And I'm going to go into a direction where I solve a problem for somebody. But secondly, like, even if it doesn't work or does work, whatever, I'm not going to give up. Even if this doesn't work, I'll just do another one. I'll just do another one. I'll do another one. So I think people are so afraid to fail, or in turn will look back and be like, damn, I wish 2-3 years ago I would have did this idea. And it's that scarcity mindset that like stops them from getting to that point. I guess like for other people who are watching, you know, you've been through ups and downs. I've been through ups and downs. You've gained a great amount of success with your career so far. Like, what is one big piece of advice that you could give to anybody who wants to start either what you're doing or just start entrepreneurship alone?
So I would say one is what we just touched on. Don't fear. Like if it's in your heart for something you're thinking about, do it. Because even if it doesn't work, cool, just go to the next. So I have done a print-on-demand t-shirt company.
Yeah, didn't work, but you can move it.
Yeah, like I've done little things here and there. I've done like social media for people. And it did work. You know, I just didn't love it. But you don't really know what you like or don't like until you try it and, you know, give it a shot. So
and even if it did or didn't work, you probably learned something really good from it that you applied even to your business now, which is crazy.
But what happens is people, it only takes a couple hours to learn most of these skills, but people take years before they take the first step.
Yeah.
So they think like, oh, it takes as long. It's like literally if you just say I'm going to take the next 3 months to really learn this thing, you can learn it. I'm not saying you'll be a master at it, but you can implement it and you'll get a feel if you like it, if it's something you want to stick with. So just take the next 3-6 months and do it. And if you don't like it, move on. If you like it, keep going. Second thing is this with entrepreneurship, it is delayed gratification. And I think just as human, that's just human nature. Like we don't like to have to wait, you know? So you're used to making money fast with a W-2, you know, every 2 weeks you're going to get paid. And entrepreneurship is not like you work. Then you might get paid. Yeah. You might work.
And you might not even get paid then.
And you might even get paid then. But the beauty of it is you can get this thing to a point where you get paid every day. Yeah. So it can flip. You just have to take time to learn what it takes. And honestly, it's all mental. It's not even like...
It is mental.
It's mostly mental. So like if you can, one, just have the confidence and go for what you want, and two, like understand that it's probably not going to work right away, understand you might get robbed. You might have a crane fall in your house. Like, that stuff is going to happen on the journey. So when it does happen, don't say this is a sign I should.
But it's a part of the journey too. It's a written book, and it's already been written before you even started.
Yeah.
It was just following the path. And to add one more thing to that I think really will feed off your first point is you have to be in a position also that you can't go into information overload. Like you said, you can learn skills real quick. Mm-hmm. You can learn drop shipping in a week if you really wanted to. But the reason why 99% of people don't succeed is because they don't implement. And this is the one thing I see so many people do. They'll watch YouTube videos for hours. They'll join a bunch of different courses. They'll learn all this stuff, but they never want to implement what is needed to actually get to where they want.
That's a big one. Yeah. That's a big thing. Because I'm guilty of it too. Like, just because I like learning. Like, watching new information is cool with me. Like, I'll do that for fun, but that's not doing. I think sometimes too, when it comes to entrepreneurship, guys, you have to understand that it's the doing that makes the money. It's not knowing. So like, I can sit there and think about all these ideas and content, but if I don't shoot the video, then it doesn't happen.
I know some insane, way more intelligent, smarter people than me that aren't making any money because they just have so much knowledge. They just keep it up here and they don't apply it. So I hope the people watching are definitely taking some of the things that we said and applying it for yourself. I mean, he's coming with some valuable information, and some of it might go over a lot of your guys' heads, and some of you guys might watch and be like, wow, that's literally what I needed to hear, and now I'm ready to go all in. So I know you provided a lot of information. Make sure you guys rewatch this over again multiple times, and we definitely got to run this back soon, man.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you
My
coming.
man, I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir, man. It's been great.
They gon' want a piece when you got it like that. Like Jake said, we gon' spend it, get it right back. Stack that internet money till the site crash. They on IG trying to get a light back. See, they don't talk that